Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all my witches, warlocks, and wanderers, whoever is out there watching this. This is my attempt and my trial run at seeing if I can do sprint streams in my new place. So for a couple of reasons. But first of all, we're going to try to do this professionally because I actually did set this up to have kind of a structure to it. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody here. And if you haven't been here before, let me go ahead and explain to you what we do. And basically what we do here is, because I'm a witch and I'm a active practitioner and I'm an author and a writer and currently finishing a book, we do a lot of discussions about a lot of different things and cover a lot of topics, intermixed with 20-minute sprints that I have a beautiful timer for that I created that we will be using. So this is my trial run because I still need to create an intro and an outro, and I'm trying to become an actual YouTuber. I spent my time off doing a lot of research and studying as to what works, what doesn't work when it comes to YouTube. So vidIQ, first of all, I want to give a shout out to that YouTube channel, because if you've never looked into them, they literally do nothing but produce videos about how to help your channel succeed. So we're going to jump into my little opener, because normally what I'd be doing right now is saying, we're going to do our first topic of a discussion and then jump into our sprints. So let's get started. Okay, and I call it the prolific hour because, like I said, we do a lot of different discussions and everything else. And I kind of like doing this because, A, I found that keeping some sort of structure where I can get work done, it actually does help me get work done. And B, I like entertaining people and staying busy. And I don't care what you're doing in the background as you're listening to me mindlessly ramble and entertain you on random topics that probably you had no interest in, but I can throw in your ear and give you some, simply because, so doing laundry, doing housework, just getting yourself organized to be able to set up for a live stream, you need that in the background. For instance, I'm a law nerd, so I was just listening to Emily D. Baker cover the P. Diddy case, or the P. Diddy accusations, and the Baldwin case, and a couple other things. And I just had it playing in my ears. I was doing my whole setup for my stream. So that's what I'm here for. And that's why I call it a prolific hour. And guys, more than likely with my ADD and the way I like to ramble, if you know me, all my friends know this ain't going to last an hour. This is going to probably last 2 or 3 hours, depending on my work ethic. Go back and check my other lives. It's me rambling is not going to change. How we've structurized things is where the change is going to be. And I'm going to drop my chair because if you haven't noticed, I keep kicking. I've got long legs. I got legs to oblivion. I am 5'11", and finding a proper height table that works with you while having the proper height chair that you don't constantly smack your knees on. Yeah. Struggle. Yeah. So, but this is why we're doing this stream, because I'm trying to figure out all these little kinks and quirks and everything else. So, we're going to jump. First of all, I want to talk about the couple of topics before we jump into our sprint and our streams. My sprints are 20 minutes. Give or take a couple seconds, because sometimes if I'm finishing up and the timer's going off, I can't help it. Forgive me. So ADD, it happens. Second of all, I'm going to show the brain work. Speaking of ADHD, there's a glitch for you. Because I'm looking at like 6 different sets of notes, and when that, including a notebook sitting in front of me, and when that happens, my brain just goes. Sometimes lists are great sometimes, except when you're doing lives and you have too much in front of you and your brain goes, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, that, oh yeah. And then also, I am a professional psychic, so you guys may not be able to see it, but I have probably about, I want to say 50 to 60 people behind me and about 3 or 4 directly in my circumference that I can hear. So sorry, I have to giggle because I literally just felt them like, oh, sorry, and like step back. It's okay, guys. I do, for those of you who don't know, I'm a different kind of psychic than most people. I live in the world. I often have to detach from that side of things. So that happens sometimes. And hello to whoever just joined us. I see somebody's viewing, but just so you know, this is one of those test streams. I haven't live streamed in a while, so we're getting all the little kinks out of the way. So first I want to talk about two things, and that's how I'm going to do this. Before we do a sprint, I'm going to cover two topics. I'm going to try to limit myself. I just realized that I was supposed to see, this is why we're doing this. I'm supposed to create another timer in the background that I'm supposed to watch for me to stop talking. And I forgot to create that. And that was something I remembered from my last live streams, is like, there's got to be a way for me to kind of like curb how much I'm talking. So that's the first thing. And I'm going to try to limit that to like a 10-15 minute conversation bubble, which is why I've made a little list of things that I want to talk about. And then after that, we're going to jump into the 20-minute sprint. And then again, we're going to come out and do our little topic conversation and then jump back into the sprint. So first thing I want to cover is, if you guys haven't been paying attention, the sun is in its most active solar, whatever. So we are dealing with a lot of solar mass ejections and a lot of changing energies. And I have noticed, and I want to bring this, and people jump into the comments to confirm or deny, but I have been noticing that every time we seem to have a solar flare, it's almost like right before the solar flare, it's almost like everybody goes out of their way to be extraordinarily rude, just to like the general public. And then B, right after the solar flare, everybody goes into an anxiety panic. And I wanted to point this out because we literally just had one yesterday at 3:30 p.m. Or day before yesterday, which was October 1st at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I actually was working with one of my students before this happened. And both of her and I mentioned, because we meet at a little cafe, we both noticed that getting to the cafe, it seemed like just in general, everybody was just out for themselves and trying to be rude. And I'm one of those drivers where I'm just like, look, if you're in a hurry and you want to be a dick, whatever on the road, I'm gonna let you just go. I used to be a rage driver. I lived in California. I was born and raised. I dealt with enough road rage in my life. I pick and choose my battles now. So, and if anybody knows me from my past, they're like, yeah, right. You used to, I know. I was the middle finger queen. I don't do that anymore. Actually, I've chosen to just kind of let it happen. Like, if you're in a hurry, you're in a hurry, go. If you're hangry because you're on lunch break and you're in a rush, I'm going to let you be hangry. If I'm in a hurry, I hope that the gods and the graces allow me the same, grace. Anyway, so after that, so we met around 11, and then I got home around 2:30. I was still doing work for her, but right at like 3:30, I was like kind of shut down. I remember thinking to all of a sudden I was really into what my YouTube was playing. And I found it strange because I was like, it's kind of quiet. Why is it so quiet? And then after that, it was like, for the next 24 hours, literally, it was just like everybody was completely anxiety filled. I actually sent a message to my student that like, I'm hiding in my room today. I'm not going out in public. So when I did my research, I found it interesting that we actually had a solar mass ejection at 3:30 p.m. And this is actually a pattern behavior because we've had about 4 of them this year. And this is definitely something I've seen happen this year. So take a sip. If you haven't been paying attention to that, I'll have to link the YouTube channels that I watch that discusses all this, because the gentleman that I watch, he not only covers all of the solar mass ejections, but he also covers a lot of the astrological influences of the energy changes, which I love. And so he's one of the ones that when I felt this, I was like, I'm checking his channel because I got a feeling that something happened. So that's the first thing. Secondly, this is me more bragging because I want to show this off a little bit because it's been a long time. When I was homeless in 2019 and I was robbed, one thing that was stolen from me was my Book of Shadows. And it's been a minute since I have been able to kind of feel comfortable enough in my, I had a rough couple years. It took me a little while to feel comfortable enough to be able to make a Book of Shadows again. And so I bought this book. Yes, it's huge. I bought this book a couple years ago when it was on sale at Earthbound. So thank you, Earthbound, for the book because I absolutely love it. So I'm going to stand up so I can show this to you guys kind of on an angle. And it's kind of funny. I used to be an altar server, so I kind of know how to do this. So I have spent time not only creating my own pages, but working to, because like even check this out. I even got it where I'm going to write spells on these. But I've actually felt comfortable enough to start creating my own Book of Shadows. And I'm very proud of it because it hasn't been easy. And also, thank you, WitchCasket. I told you I was going to put them in my Book of Shadows. So if you guys watch my channel, I normally do WitchCasket unboxings. Well, here's the scrolls from the WitchCasket unboxings. But as you can see, I have done a lot of work to be able to start putting information in. And here's one of the pages that I started working on. But for those of you that are wondering kind of how to do this, because there's a lot of information that goes into your Book of Shadows, and I know it can seem really overwhelming. I've been telling my students to not really stress about creating the Book of Shadows until you are a little bit more knowledgeable in your craft. Because the truth is your Book of Shadows is your quick reference guide as to what you need to be able to do what you do. And not everybody needs the same information. Hi, Cora. I just saw that. Not everybody needs the same information. So that's why mine is half finished because I've had this book for so long. And I forgot to show. I also finished it because I'm doing it two different ways. Here's the backside. Because I used all of the stuff that I got from the WitchCasket, or a lot of the stuff that I got from WitchCasket. But see, I did the back pages because I have things spotted all through because that's kind of how I wanted to do it. But I also, for those of you that want like this kind of book and find it very difficult to write on this kind of paper, this is my cheat. And then this paper is very good with Mod Podge. So that's how I ended up getting all of these pages in here, was simply Mod Podge. And it adheres and dries really well. It adheres very well and dries very quickly. So, and Cora, you just in time for a sprint because that's what I'm actually trying to do, a structured thing here where I keep to a thing. Keep to an actual plan. Your son, what does it say? My son is at an appointment now, stopping in to say hi. Well, thank you for stopping in to say hi. I appreciate it. This is just kind of a rough run since I haven't done live streams in so long. And I've done a lot of research and I've done a lot of planning. So this is my rough run to figure out if I'm going to actually be able to stay structured the way I want to. But I'm trying to get my book done because here's the other reason why I started doing this stream is truthfully, I found a program that I lost my editor due to circumstances beyond my control. And I'm not going to force or pressure anybody into adhering to their side of the agreement, even though I fulfilled mine. I'm just going to let karma take care of it because I also, honestly, I feel really bad about the situation because I'm just like, the karma, like you reneged on your side of the deal and I fulfilled mine. And I don't know how to prevent the karma that's going to come to you because I'm a good person and I don't want people to suffer. Anyway, I found a program that is going to allow me to edit my own book. So I wish I would have brought my book to edit. I can't because my son is unpredictable. Honey, you've got 2 boys, like, and a baby. Don't you have a baby? You have a baby. Girl, why are you trying to multitask in public when you have children and a baby? You're already multitasking. You forget that because you're such a good mom, but don't put more stress on yourself to multitask. Oh, honey, moms put way too much pressure on themselves to try to do too much. You're already multitasking because you have 2 kids and a baby, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been a minute. I miss you, girl. It's been a minute, but yeah. And yeah, love, and you've produced, oh my gosh. So you're giving yourself a little bit of stress because you didn't bring your book to edit. However, in the last 9 months, you have literally put out a video every week on your YouTube channel, and you have a newborn, and you have 2 boys, and you're married with a household, and you're writing a book. What did I tell you the last time I did a reading for you? First of all, we told you, oh, wow. So your angels, yeah, that's very interesting. Your angels just came in quick because they're just like, yeah, and it's time for us to do another reading because everything that we said was going to happen has happened because we've hit the 3-year mark. And I think they're correct. I think it's been about 3 years since I did a reading for you. And I want to touch base too, because I want to see if everything that I said was going to happen, except for your newborn being a boy, because I swore he was going to be a girl and I was wrong. But we'll still have to see if the reason I sensed him as a girl is the reason I told you. Wow. See, this is what I love about angels. They remember everything. I can't, like, some of this stuff I haven't even thought about. And people, okay, so for all of my friends that are like, oh my God, she's got such an amazing memory. It's not always me. So angels have amazing memories because they have to remember everything. So, well, anyway, but I'm going to jump into a sprint because I am trying to get work done. And for my sprint, y'all are going to be very surprised about this because I haven't actually shared this yet. I started researching. So I am a Harry Potter fan and I am a Star Wars fan. And working with an editor, I found out that my book is actually a combination of Harry Potter meets Star Wars with a lesbian lead. Okay. So I started doing research on both arc canons of Star Wars and Harry Potter. Now, Star Wars I gave up on very quickly because Disney has kind of so convoluted the whole Star Wars concept that I am like, it was too much. I was just like, there were so many pathways that divert from the original story that I can't. So I moved from that and I started doing some deep dive research on Harry Potter. And for 2 reasons. A, I want to make sure I don't copy anything because yes, I read the books. Yes, I watched the movies. Yes, I'm a huge fan. Can I remember if I maybe accidentally integrated any of that into my own book? No. So I did a little bit of a deep dive to figure out, so I kind of have the entire Harry Potter all set up. Well, in this deep dive, I came across Ilvermorny, which is the American Hogwarts, pretty much. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Because I also was like, my book kind of has this theme to it. And so I was kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was my angels because they just kind of came in and were like, hi, yeah, us. So maybe my angels led me to this, but something about Ilvermorny, like they were like, well, maybe your book is the extension of what happened to the American witchy school. I wonder if there's ever been an American witchy school. So that's when I discovered Ilvermorny with the whole Harry Potter. And now I'm doing major research on Ilvermorny for several reasons. Number one, the pictures I drew of my whole penitentiary, and remember, y'all, these are dreams I have had. I am 42 years old. These are dreams I have had since I was like 9 or 10. Okay. And I only started writing them down in my 20s. And so this isn't like, there's so much that is matching up with the Ilvermorny beginning that I think my story is like 20 years later, or like 100 years later, or the next generation, or I feel like my main characters are somehow descendants of Martha and Roanoke, because yeah, and this comes into because of the names, the events that happen, everything else. So that is what I'm going to be working on during this sprint, is listening to the rest of the YouTube list that I have on Ilvermorny and getting my notes done. So for because it's just very strange. Like even the drawings that I drew, the penitentiary that I drew looks like the front of Ilvermorny Castle. It's very strange. So anyway, I think it's us time. My baby and oldest are with their grandfather, so I can breathe right now. Oh, and yes, I have 3 boys. Oh, but still though, technically you still have one with you, so technically that's not breathing. You moms, this is probably why I was never a mom, because I'm so selfish with my time. I don't know how you moms do it, honestly. And my ADD, and I have enough as well. And as my friends that have kids say, because of how much I deal with angels, they're like, you how much they distract me is about as much as children would distract me. So, all right. So we're going to add my beautiful timer to my wonderful thing. I am going to make sure that my Bluetooth is turned off on my phone and stick this in my ear, because yeah, we don't need this playing over. So time management. I have time management. I also have time blindness, which is why it gets very convoluted and distorted. Hey, okay. Being a very detailed, highly detailed, organized person with ADHD and neurodivergency, I'm dealing with an oxymoron here. So, it explains why I have moments. I don't know why, but I feel like that just made you bust up laughing. Okay, so we're going to start this timer, and we're going to mute me in the process. So in 3, 2, 1, let the countdown begin. Well, and that's the end of that sprint. So we're going to take this off. And we're going to slide this on over. And we're going to have it reset to there. There we go. Okay, so yeah. So like I said, this is a rough stream. I'm getting the kicking caboose down because of, and then all the details down because I haven't streamed in so long. Cora left us because she's got to drive, which I completely understand. Please concentrate on your driving, especially with your little ones. But Nicole has joined us. Hello, Nicole. And yes, I know you haven't been to one of my streams in so long because honestly, it has been so long since I have streamed. I think honestly, it's been about a year since I streamed, but I spent some time doing some research, figuring out what I was going to do. And we're back with a whole new kind of way of doing things. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit more structured and organized. But StreamYard's also come out with a bunch of new fun features. So figuring out, like, for instance, being able to create your own layouts. So I'm still playing around with that and figuring out exactly how I want to have my stuff laid out back here. And I figured out I need to create an intro and an outro. And yeah, it's just one of those things where they've definitely allowed you to do a lot more on StreamYard since the last time I've streamed. So I mentioned this at the beginning. I watched a lot of vidIQ videos, and if you've never seen vidIQ on YouTube, all they do is tell you how to expand and promote your channel and what works and what doesn't work, and they are amazing. So I spent quite some time watching some of their videos and doing some research and some learning. So that's what we're doing. So I just finished up, for anybody who's interested as to what I was doing during the sprint. I did finish up the video that I was working on up to the details. It's kind of interesting how it worked out because my notes kind of ended where I started my own notes about what I was thinking is going on with this. Because here's the thing. I have a character named William who is an older pugwudgie that is married to, or that is with a Martha that lives in the dark forest. And it's just very interesting how some of the names with some of the characters that I have and my already own created backstories, including Martha's and William's, that seem to line up with the Ilvermorny stuff. It's almost like, was I reading somebody's mind, or was somebody reading my mind, or how did this happen? Because this is just weird. So that's why I'm doing the deep dive on the Ilvermorny, because there's so many things that are lining up where I'm just like, this is just interesting. This is just odd. So we'll see what happens. But if I could, I don't know if I can, but no, I'm not going to actually be like, this is still Rosalind Chronicles. This is still my book with my story. It's just weird. It's just one of those things where, like, if anybody brings up in the future the coincidences and the actual, like, similarities between this stuff, I want to be like, yeah, you know what? I noticed that too. However, the vast depthness, I mean, y'all know I've got from notebooks to binders to just this entire this thing, not including all of the stuff that I have on my computer regarding that. But that's not what we're technically working on the book today, but not completely. Ultimately, what I'm going, this is a trial session, hence the reason that I'm doing stuff this way, because I'm trying to figure out all the kinks. I also want to make sure that I can actually stream at this location in my house because the Wi-Fi is not that good. So I want to go back and watch this and make sure that I'm not like glitchy or robot-y, and make sure that I don't have to like move. Because I'm in a big house and I'm in the basement, and the Wi-Fi unit is all the way at the other end of the house upstairs. It's like I am literally Washington to Florida. Washington State to Florida. So when it comes to my Wi-Fi, So I'm trying, that's also why this stream is a little different than others, because I had to figure out if the Wi-Fi is going to work, if the streaming setup is going to work, if, you know, if the people that I live with are going to be driven crazy by my talking for 2 hours while I'm streaming. You know, there's just a lot of little things that go into streaming that you don't necessarily think about before you become a streamer. Like the echo. Is the echo really bad? Is my microphone dampening it enough? Like, a lot of little things that normally if you're starting out streaming, you don't think about. Oh, excuse me. Of course. You don't think about streaming until you streamed it before. And now that I've streamed it before, all the stuff is in my head and I'm just like, okay. So that's what we're doing today. So, but normally what I'll be doing is editing my book, because I did find, as I said before, I found a program that will allow me to edit my own book. And I'm super stoked. And I already tried it out. I've already tested it. It's going to work. I just need to get some other, with my ADHD and my neurodivergency, there's just some other things I need to get finished before I can actually, you know, do this. And so my normal stream, the setup will be, because I'm also still job searching. So if there's anybody out there in Spokane that watches this video that wants to hire me part-time as an admin or a receptionist or anything like that, please let me know. I keep being told I'm overly qualified, and I'm getting really frustrated with it. Hence another reason why I started live streaming, because at this point I'm like, I have been searching for a job out here for 9 months. I have been told nothing but you are overly qualified for this position. So I am just, I'm like, fine, I'm going to work on my book. Like, maybe the angels are trying to tell me something, and the last thing a psychic is allowed to see is their own life. So it totally would make sense that my angels are like, you're not seeing what we're trying to tell you to do here. So that is also why I'm doing this. Yeah. Just, you try to, I love, it's so true when they say you can plan all you want, but they're going to make sure that things go according to plan. So, to their plan. So I tried to plan things out. They didn't go according to my plan. And now I'm just going to be like, fine, we're going to work on my book. We're going to figure out, you know, we're just going to try to get that published and get that done and go from there. Also, that this is another reason. I am taking anybody who's interested in expanding. If you're witchy, or if you're into the witchcraft, occult, that kind of stuff, if you're a healer, if you're an aura healer, if you do chakras, if you are a psychic, if you do tarot readings, if, you know, you do spell work, anything like that. If you are one of those that you're starting out, but you're looking to get a little bit further into your craft, not that the total beginners that, you know, are not aware of what everything I just said, but those that are kind of in the midst of it, if you're looking to expand your craft, please reach out to me. I have been doing some work in the last 2 years, and I have come to realize that I am very good. Evidently, where my psychic abilities are very well tuned is in helping young witches get better in their craft. So, hopefully I'll have some testimonials, because there's one young lady where, like, she was going to pay for a class. She was going to pay $6,000 for a class, and like, she was actually coming to me to see if the class would be worth it. And I wasn't like, if you know me, I'm the type of person who's not going to be like, oh, well, you can get more for your money out of me, you should give it to me. But that's kind of what I saw. So I worded it in the way of like, you can go with your gut instinct. If you look over the class and really think you can get something out of it, try it out. However, there are other avenues in which you can acquire the information without that's more one-on-one. And she ended up coming to me. And this is what I was kind of hoping for. I was like, well, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. But she ended up coming to me and being like, how would you feel about teaching me? And I was like, well, that's what I do. I just don't, guys, I don't know why I have a problem putting value on my abilities. I just do. Does anybody ever tell me I'm not good at my abilities? No. Most people that I meet that I actually do psychic readings are like dumbfounded. And yes, I don't mean to, but I have converted a lot of non-believers. However, it's difficult for me to put value on it. And I get yelled at by people all the time for it. So, but she, in the last couple months, she has, or last 3 weeks, actually, it's been a month. Oh my gosh. And anybody who works with me, it feels like you do a lot more in a very short amount of time. But just in the last 3 weeks, she has not only honed her craft, but down to even the books that I've recommended have literally answered exact questions that she was asking. So I'm opening now and she's the one who's actually encouraged me to do it. Because before I was just like, no, I don't think anybody would be interested in this. And she's like, hi. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So that is why I'm opening my door to anybody who is more of an average witch who wants to expand their craft even more and is unsure which direction to go or how to hone it. So for any of you interested, after I do my little rant, send me a message, leave something in the comments, send me a message, find me on one of either my Instagram or my TikTok. You do have to that was something I was supposed to do. I'm changing my settings because I had a stalker issue. Hopefully it's resolved. I had my settings set so I couldn't accept messages from new people, but I have to change my settings. I made myself a note. I will be doing it. So find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok, find me on YouTube, send me a message, leave it in the comments if you're interested and want to know. It's the same cost as my normal readings. It's $60 an hour. If you're a new client, $45 for the first hour and $60 every hour after that. I keep being told I need to increase my price. However, with times that they are, me charging $60 even seems high for me. And I even struggle with that. So I'm here to help people, not gain wealth. And besides, if you looked at my Chiron and my end node, you would know obtaining wealth is not a possibility in my life, evidently. Which I was like, okay. No, this is not my house. For anybody who's like, look at the house you're living in. No, none of this is mine. I'm grateful to be able to live where I'm living. Is it actually mine? No. So on that note, we're going to jump into another stream. Again, it's another 20-minute stream. I am actually going to grab my Book of Shadows real quick. So we're going to, that one. Okay. I'm going to grab my Book of Shadows real quick because there was some stuff I needed to actually work on. And I think it's this paper. I think it's that paper because that's the first page, right? That's the first page, right? Oh yeah. And then I needed to look at this. So for my favorite jar spell, for my long distance protection spell, because I wanted to have my quick go-to spells and then my goddess spell. So yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very creative. Oh, also, I'll announce that in the next section. So I'm going to be working on a couple pages for my Book of Shadows. So let's get the sprint started and I will see you all in 20 minutes. All right. And in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hold on. I want to figure something out real quick since this is a test stream. There is sound on this timer. And I am now wondering why the sound is not coming through. So give me 1 second because I want to see if I can figure out why. Because I worked really hard to figure out how to get sound on this timer. And now the sound's not playing. And it's like when you work this hard to do something like that. And it's not going to let me. All right. So then we're just going to go with it. We're just going to roll with it. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Don't forget to mute yourself. And that's the end of that sprint. I swear, I got to figure out why the sound is not working on this, because, yeah, I spent so much time getting the sound on this thing, and now no sound. And I'm very disappointed. So I was able to, so lettering evidence takes a little while, which is why I wanted to do it during sprints, because, yeah, I also enjoy doing it, and I'm trying not to stress out about all the things that I need to work on and fix for future sprints. But this is the lettering I chose. So that's what it looks like. Beautiful. Okay. This is how mine is turning out. I think I'm doing fairly good. But I noticed this. But see, this is why it's my book of shadows and not a professional one. Like, yes, that little thing is probably inevitably going to drive me crazy in the future. Am I going to try to fix it? No. Because not worth it. And I had to get something soft to write on because I'm working on a beautiful table. However, it is made of wood pieces and lovely grooves that I was fighting with. So I'm going to set that aside because we'll continue that once we get on to the next sprint. However, the next thing I wanted to actually discuss was something that hold up. When your 98-year-old grandfather texts you, you read it. Ooh. Okay. Oh, evidently he was asking if I wanted one or the others of leftovers, but I guess there's so much now that, yeah, he's just going to eat it. Or there's not enough that he's going to eat it. So anyway, we're going to go. Okay. Sorry about that. But when your 98-year-old Irish grandfather texts you, you kind of look and respond. So, that was off topic. Getting back on topic. The next thing I want to discuss was something that I have actually talked about. If you have been my client, you have probably heard me talk about how the industry was facing a flip. I saw this coming in 2019, early 2019 or 2020-ish. Okay. I knew the full momentum of it was going to hit when the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial happened. I was like, this is the start of the flip that I had seen. And I said that this was going to be a kind of industry flip where from actors to the middleman to the musicians to the higher up execs all the way down to the piddly widdly YouTubers, this is going to flip the whole industry on its head. For those of you that live under a rock or in a basement or choose to just avoid social media in general and what's going on in the public, which I don't blame you for, you've heard about the whole Diddy, the feds pulling the whole Diddy situation in. I'm not going to go into too depths of detail, simply because, well, it's not pretty. It's not good. It's not nice. However, for those of us that grew up, because when I was in my 20s, I did model, I did work in the industry. I had an ex-husband who was a musician. For those of us that know the nitty-gritty of the industry, are we the least bit surprised about this? No. Even down to Nobody's Like Me saw this coming. And I don't mean I saw this coming as a psychic. I mean, I have my own personal experience where I didn't play the game. And there's a reason I was blacklisted and not successful in the industry. Did I involve myself in anything that happened or went on? Are you going to find me in any of those videos? No. The parties I attended all had wristlets and there were rules. Did I leave situations that I thought were uncomfortable? Yes. That I thought were wrong? Yes. There is probably not a single person who hasn't had some sort of experience in the entertainment industry that didn't come across this. So for all of you that was wondering what the big Hollywood secret was, I cannot tell you the level of panic I feel from everybody in this industry. And they should be, straight up. From the knowledge I know, y'all should be panicking, and big time. And it's about time y'all got caught. It's about time hammer of karma and retribution came down and did the smackdown on you. Because there's a lot of us that are still suffering from what we saw and experienced in the industry. And I didn't even glimpse the iceberg because I was smart enough not to. There's a lot of people that weren't. So I am just so super proud that a prediction that I made, that I saw several years in coming, because this will literally flip the industry on the head. Nothing in entertainment is going to be happening the same way anymore. This has completely blown the carpet. Literally, there's no more carpet in Hollywood to sweep stuff under anymore, and there's not going to be, and it's about time. And I saw this happening. I mean, like I said, when I was doing readings, I was Ella on ESPchat.com. They no longer exist. But in 2019 to 2021, I was Ella on ESP Chat. I did a lot of readings for people. And this was actually something that I remember repeating almost on the daily when I was doing readings for people on that chat or on that site. And now seeing it come into fruition, like, I'm just like, And I always tell people my angels work usually in like chunks of 3. So we're going to see a 3-week period of time, a 3-month period of time, and then a 3-year period of time. And yes, it's kind of more like 4 years, but I saw this, like I said, at the end of 2021, that it was inevitable. And now it's the end of 2024, and that's 3 years. So if you're not keeping your eye out for that and you're not paying attention to it, for us YouTubers, this isn't necessarily a good thing. This does mean that the mainstream media is going to try to infiltrate YouTube. Mainstream media is done. They're done. The tactics, manipulation, coercion, the dealings, it can't happen anymore. And truthfully, it's going to be a minute until everybody can figure out how they're going to do these dealings and everything else, because they've been doing this for so long. Like, you can teach an old dog new tricks. It's just going to take a little while. So that is what I wanted to bring up, because I kind of want to give myself a little pat on the back, because and gloat a little, simply because this is something. Sorry, my angels were trying to throw something away and I can't have them throw it away. So this is something that I have been seeing for quite some time, and to have it to actually watch it inevitably come to light, I'm just like, And to all the victims out there, to all the people who experienced what I experienced, and then the whole gamut of it, just know there's a lot of us. There's a lot of people out here that have your backs, that are supportive of you, and really hopeful that the elites, as we called them, fall from grace. So on that note, on that joyful note, and honestly, truthfully, if you understand who I'm talking about, it is a joyful note. It's not joyful to watch anybody fall, not in the least bit, not ever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, it is nice to see finally karmic retribution for pain that was done in the past. So we're going to pull our timer back up at the stage. We're going to do our little display that I love because I chose it. Thank you, StreamYard, for creating a way that we can do our own freaking layouts. Okay, so, and I'm going to do my little checklist here because we did that and we did that. So, and if you're not a fan of Emily D. Baker, you need to go be a fan of Emily D. Baker, because she is actually breaking down a lot of the little detailed information that I've been picking up is actually been in the breakdowns of not only the Baldwin case, but the Karen Reed case and the Murdaugh case and the Maxwell case, or not the Maxwell case, sorry, the Girardi case. So and through all this is how I've been slowly watching this whole flip happen. And all the telltale signs are there. So for those of you who like legalese stuff, go check out Emily D. Baker's channel, because not only do I love listening to her in the background, not only does she love cursey words, not only is she totally ADHD and neurodivergent and loves pulling out song lyrics when things remind her of it, but she does. She literally makes law entertaining, and I love it. So, but that's where I get a lot of my little tidbits about what's happening within the industry to pick up on my psychic work. And also, if you become a student, this is something I teach you how to do. So, we're going to get this timer started. And I will see you guys in another 20 minutes. And I think this is probably going to be our last sprint. Simply because I don't want to be sitting here for 5 hours, sitting back and watching my own live, because I do have to watch this live back to make sure that like sound quality, video quality, everything else. Also, just so you know, the mama upstairs is starting to cook, and she being an Italian mama, she loves to cook. So am I going to tell her to not cook? No, absolutely not. Also, because I definitely indulge myself in the yumminess that comes out of that kitchen. But secondly, you might hear some sounds for the next little time that we chit chat, because yeah, she you know, a chef is allowed to enjoy their kitchen, and I am not going to be one to tell her to be quiet. So she doesn't tell me to be quiet, I ain't going to tell her to be quiet. All right. So we're going to start this sprint in 3, 2, 1, and go. And don't forget to mute yourself. And that's the end of that sprint. So that's our last sprint. Simply because, yeah, we've been on here for almost 3 hours or 2 hours. And like I said, I don't want to have to deal with going back and watching myself for another 3 hours. I've already streamed for 3 hours or 2 hours. I'm going to have to go back and watch myself for 2 hours. So I was able to finish my tarot quick reference page with my major arcana. I think I did pretty good on the lettering. So there's that. And then I chose for my next when I'm going to hop off here and listen to my thing. But while I'm doing that, this is the lettering I chose. And I'm going to be doing the opening and closing of ritual circles for that. And then maybe a little bit on the goddess Persephone, because that is the goddess that I attune to. So why Persephone? Because if you see the cycle of my, it once you get to know me, it's so clear why I pray, why I atone to the goddess Persephone. But hello, I spent the last 15 minutes relaxing. You can do that with a baby. I thought those days were over once you had kids. No, I'm just kidding. Now I got to get the baby. Oh, now you have to get the baby. Have a good one. See you next time. Thank you just coming in, Cora. I appreciate you even just watching and listening. But so that is my little stream for all of you. Thank you to Cora and Nikki. And I'm going to give her a shout out, even though it might embarrass her. Thank you, Danielle, too, for hopping in and seeing the YouTube stream. For those of you that are new here, I hope you enjoyed yourselves. We didn't even get through the full list of topics that I wanted to discuss. And I tend to ramble. So for those of you that are new, that are not used to this and not used to my neurodivergent rambling mouth, welcome. I hope you enjoyed yourself. For those of you that are return, and thank you for coming back. I'm so glad to be back streaming. Honestly, I forgot how much I enjoy streaming until I do it. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is why I stream. This is why I was streaming before. So I got a lot of work done. And honestly, I had a great time. Wow, these are beautiful. Thank you. Sorry I disappeared. Had to take a shower. I get 2 index cards done though. Yes, I'm using index cards to outline my book. And you know what? This is one thing I love, and I have watched with the Authortube community. It has expanded so much that there's so many different tactics and strategies and ways to be able to outline and write books now that, I'm so glad. And I remember you were with us when we all started streaming back, 3 or 4 years ago when we all started this. And I remember how much you struggled a little bit to try to figure out the outline. So I'm so happy that you've from what I'm hearing, you have figured out your little tactics and critiques and ways to manage yourself and ways to be able to do what you need to get done. So I'm so happy for you, Nicole. See, and for the rest of you that are also new to the Authortube community, this is why we're here. We're here to share ideas, talk about different subjects, get work done. Whether it's laundry or outlining your book on index cards, it doesn't matter, or working on your book of shadows. So, also, a lot of you are like, what does your book of shadows have to do with writing a book? My entire book is literally magic based. Everything from the first 2 paragraphs in the first page, you're dealing with magic. So that's why I've been working on my book of shadows, because hence I've also been trying. I'm on the second book. So I finished the first book, which is 300 pages, and I'm editing that. I'm on the second book and in the process of things. And here's my problem. I'm finding myself with literally piles of books to reference information for the book. And I realized that, you know what, I need to just compile what I need and what I know into one book. And I was like, oh yeah, that's called the Book of Shadows. Oh yeah, I was supposed to redo that. So hence, and I'm an ADHD, and that's what happens. So one thing leads to another. So thank you, and dinner time. Oh no, go enjoy dinner. Have fun. Thank you for joining us on the stream. And for the rest of you, I'm starting to do this. I'm going to be streaming depending on the quality. We'll see. If the quality is really bad and the streaming was really bad, I'm going to end up moving my entire setup to another room. So next week's sprint will depend on how good a quality this stream was, and whether I can move everything in time to have the stream next week. The week after that is guaranteed. So hopefully I will see you next week and I won't have to change too much. And if not, then I'll see you the week after that. Other than that, keep writing, keep being productive, keep your magical spirits going, and protect yourself from these energies, because guys, right now it's super crazy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye.